Alright dudes, back with another video. This time we're talking about Ragtime. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit harder to talk about because we can't really do number comparisons per se when it comes to this arm. It doesn't do any damage. But there is a lot of things you can do with this arm. You can combo it with a lot of arms, you can basically save your ass, and you can also abuse bosses with it. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. How can you maintain a good style ranking, and how can you combo it with each arm? I mean, which arms can you combo it with, really? That's what's important here. Now, first things first, it's always important to note that these stats were done on Son of Sparta mode for number values, although there won't be any here. Breakage is the amount of damage we're really looking for. When you do one breakage move, you do about 75 damage on Son of Sparta mode. The animation is about 1 second long, and you are invulnerable during that animation and you throw enemies away. Because not only do we measure these arms by their damage, but how vulnerable is the player, where do the enemies end up by the end of the animation, how long is the animation, and all that sort of good stuff. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Ragtime. Ragtime is a pretty well used arm. Thanks to Bloody Palace, we're actually able to see it function differently with different bosses. For instance, most of the time when using Ragtime, it lasts for upwards of 10 seconds, which is pretty good. That's a lot of time for you to be using other arms or other damage values of sorts within that frame. However, when doing Bloody Palace, I noticed that some of the bosses actually lower the time. Cavalier Angelo, for instance, I like using my Ragtime and Punchline combo. I wasn't able to do that because Ragtime would actually end even before I was able to use my Punchline animation because it ended so fast. It was somewhere closer to more like 5 seconds than it was 10 seconds. Now, I haven't seen this happen really anywhere else, for the exception of a few bosses, which I haven't really seen what all bosses do this. Ragtime has a lot of cool functionalities. Its basic attack will send an orb and freeze enemies in place for quite some time. You can use 2 separate orbs at a time with about a 2-second recovery before you can use another orb. When placing this orb down, any enemy that's caught in the orb at any given time while it is up will freeze practically in place. Will practically be frozen in place. They'll move a little bit, but not by much. The freezing duration is about 3 seconds long. With Devil May Cry, that's a good amount of time, honestly. You can abuse this arm quite a bit in combat when versing people such as Sin Scissors or the Nobodies, for instance. And hell, even bosses. So a lot of people take Ragtime away from bosses unless using its ultimate ability. But I'm here to say, you can use its default ability on bosses. Instead of creating an orb, what it does is it slows them down for about a second, maybe even 2 seconds, and it gives you enough time to dodge around them. It's a little recovery period. Like if you feel like you're in danger, you're about to get hit, you can quickly throw that out and you can dodge and get behind a boss. Or maybe it's that extra period of time you need in order to do enough damage to hit that threshold on a boss to stun them. Quite frankly, I think it's something that shouldn't be overlooked because it's something that saved my life numerous times and has gotten me to the point where I've been able to stun a boss by dealing enough damage. Usually the Exceeds function works wonders here. Now, speaking about that heavy, let's talk about that heavy ability. That heavy ability has about a 2-second startup animation where you will see the ultimate freeze everybody in place, which will last for upwards of 10 seconds long, normally. It's important to note, this ultimate ability does not enhance any sort of damage from the player. Also, Devil Trigger does not extend the period of time for Ragtime. And that's basically Ragtime in a nutshell. But, what can we use with it? Well, I like to talk about my favorite combo where I use Punchline. This is something that I've used quite a bit during the Urizen prologue fight. Usually when I broke through his crystal, I would use a Ragtime Punchline before getting knocked back out with the crystal phase coming back up. I would recommend it for anybody who's trying to beat the prologue for the first time. Another good tool that could be used here is Tomboy. A lot of people feel in danger when using Tomboy because you're very vulnerable to losing the arm. With using Ragtime's ultimate ability, you freeze everybody in place and then you can just abuse Tomboy on anybody and hopefully beat the thresholds on a boss to get them stunned. You probably use a Buster attack on them. Speaking of which, you can use a Buster arm on somebody who is frozen. And last but not least, what you can also do is bring in some overtures. I would usually recommend using 3 overtures for maximum damage, but you usually only have time for 1, maybe even 2 overtures before time is up. But I think it would be worth the extra mile to place a 3rd overture even if the time goes up for Ragtime, because with 3 overtures, you're doing a lot more damage. So all in all, Ragtime is a very useful tool and it's really dependent on the player. It's very difficult to rank this compared to other arms because it's very, very dependent on how the player uses it. With that being said, let's see how a pro player uses it.
play with ya?
I want to thank Devil Never Cry for that awesome pro footage on how to use Ragtime. I will leave a link to his channel in the description box below if you guys want to check him out. Be sure to give his video some love. Speaking of giving some love, be sure to give one to this video right here by hitting that like button. It goes a long way and really pushes these videos out for more people to see these kind of videos. If you want to go the extra mile, be sure to hit that share button to really ensure you get more people to see these videos, because it's very important we have more people see how these damage values work for each arm and how you use each of these arms. With that being said, it really wouldn't be that important if you guys didn't go in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about each of these arms, how you use them, and maybe what you think now after you realize how some of these arms function. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I want to thank you all for watching a long time, but not a hard time. I'll see you guys next time.